Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to the 10th race of Season 5 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Aaron's 499 here at Talladega Superspeedway. And this race, we've done some testing with some new changes, and we could be expecting perhaps the best race in Talladega history on this channel. But before we get to the typical stuff, I have a special guest co-commentator for the first time, and I have no idea how long. Please welcome back the man I like to call the Duke, Mr. Raphael Leduc.
The Duke, wow! I am honored to be bestowed such a great nickname by you, Levi. But it is my pleasure to be back here. I haven't done one of these in a while, and the last time we did, it kind of got a bit too dirty, if you will. So I'll try to keep it PG because I know what's good. I'm not gonna get rated R like your boy Xavier Woods.
Of course, you had to throw in the wrestling reference.
Hey, we're wrestling marks here.
True. But, so nonetheless, we got Leduc here for co-commentary. Yeah, if I recall the last time I had you on, it was for, ironically, another Superspeedway race. It was at Tennessee Superspeedway with also Dylan Jacobs. And that got really, really fun. And he was originally going to join us, but he's here with us in spirit in the booth. But before we look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at the top 10 in points going into the race today. So after last week at Texas, Joshua Collard has taken the points lead over, and he leads by 4 over James McLeod. Then second, Benjamin Miles. Fourth is the winner from Texas, Carson Gum. Fifth, Matt McIntyre. 6th, Dylan Jacobs. 7th, Paul Minnick. 8th, Anthony McCrory. 9th, Sean Galligan. And then 10th, James Qualls. So if the chase were to start now, that would be your 10. But we still got, after this race, 16 more races before we get to that point. And just as a reminder, for those wondering about for Season 6, no chase in Season 6. We're going to go just straight up, most points is the champion, just like we did back in Season 2. But nonetheless,
So if you have a good finish, but you don't win the goddamn race, you're probably still going to be champion. And if you win a few races, but you suck the rest of the time, well, you're kind of fucked, my friend. So take your participation trophy and get your ass back in the back.
Okay, Miz. Anyways, so now let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row, we have Anthony McCrory and Emmanuel Hartnett. Top 10 for today, Dougie Shears on the pole. Starting next to him is defending series champion Joshua Circuli. Row 2.
Who needs a goddamn break?
Exactly. He comes into this race, I believe, dead last in points. No, 39th. Close to dead last. But the guy in dead last is starting in row 2, Cody Lamas, and then next to him, Benjamin Miles.
Talladega is a race where a lot of people that have been struggling all season could maybe finally get out of the rut they're in because of just extreme randomness, if you will, of the race, because you never know when the wreck's going to come. You have to be basically careful of everyone that's around you, because if one small mistake by one person can mess up a lot of people's days. So you almost have to drive hard, drive fast, but you always have to also drive with like prudence. It's kind of weird, but that's just the power of the super speedway, I guess.
Anyways, row 3, we've got two Roush Racing teammates, Ryan Butcher and Dylan Thoreau. Row 4, Charles Sanford, Dylan Poteet. And then row 5, the last of the Roush cars, Ethan Hoffman and Paul Minnick. So good qualifying runs for all 3 of the Roush Racing cars, all starting in the top 10. Wonder if they can work together throughout this race. Not holding my breath for it, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Aaron's 499 at Talladega.
Drivers, start your engines!
So all 40 drivers on the racetrack for their one pace lap around here. Now, I mentioned earlier we were talking about we did some tests here before we started recording. You won't believe some of the changes we've done to this racetrack. The big one being chassis type is set to 4, which is very unusual for a restrictor plate track, and of course they're going to be a little bit slower than they've ever run at Talladega. However, the racing was very good, and it took them a while to actually wreck. But I wonder if maybe that could change for this race, and we could see a potential all green flag race or wreck fest. We'll never know until we see what happens here.
Put your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to wreck first?
And also, this race is going to be important for sure because remember, with this new point system, if you finish 36th through 40th, you don't get any points whatsoever. So drivers are going to be going pedal to the metal pretty much all race long to keep themselves in contention to get some points.
Yeah, but they can't go too crazy as well, because when you go pedal to metal too hard, that's when you end up wrecking things. You have to be careful. Encourage your drivers to drive as hard as they can, but they need to be careful.
Alright, and the pace car pulls in the pit road. Any final predictions?
We will see a first-time winner this season. New winner. No repeats.
We could. So far, we've only had, I believe, one two-time winner, and that's Matt McIntyre. But anyways, green flag is out, and it's time to boogity go racing.
Or when you are like a Ricardo Rodriguez.
Oh, and there they go already. The big one is struck, and it's a big one right here. And a lot of championship contenders, or actually points-leading contenders. Matt McIntyre was involved from what I saw. Tim Fiegel, Paul Minnick. A lot of drivers. Trent Dunham was in it. James McLeod, who was up in second in points. I see a couple others. Rafael LeDuc, Patrick Smith. A whole bunch of them involved.
Wow, I don't know what happened. Right after they crossed the line, something must have happened. Someone must have gone out of line, and they kind of bunched up the field.
And I was going to say that during that first lap we had 2 lead changes, but Joshua Sakuli led at the line right there as the caution comes out on lap 2, going into lap 3, and I'm going to predict it was probably a 4-wide situation gone completely wrong. But
I think it was like I said. I think it's just someone that tried to get out of line, tried to make a move, and wasn't the right time for it. Got a little bit too aggressive in the beginning instead of selling into your position and trying to work from there. But we'll see what happens here when we get to the replay.
yeah, and speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and take a break and look at the replay to see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Talladega. Well, I stand corrected. It was a 4-wide situation gone wrong. Charles Sanford tries to make it 4-wide underneath the 6 of Ryan Butcher, the 48 of Cody Lamas, and Dylan Poteen, the 31. And I don't know if the 6 was thinking he was trying to give enough room to the 03, but he ended up squeezing the 48 and 31 up into the safer barrier, and that's what gets everyone here collected. And then there's a follow-up incident we'll take a look at in a little bit with Trent Dunham, but there you see a lot of drivers getting at least a piece of it. Guys like Preston Plord was in it, Jake Baskinger, who kind of went airborne, same with the 32 of Matt McIntyre, who came in the top 10 in points. A lot of key contenders involved in this one, and now we're going to try and look at what happened afterwards with Trent Dunham after he got collected. As we're watching him, he's by himself in the middle of 3 wide, gets in the Paul Minnick a little bit and couldn't see from all the smoke, and then contacting the Ryan Butcher, and then a hard hit into the outside wall, and then he's going to come sliding back down in front of James McLeod and Patrick Smith. James Qualls gets a little piece of it. And then, how does Rafael LeDuc get in this? Oh, right there, just as Trent was spinning back up and across traffic. That's what happened right there. And then Kyle Matthews almost gets into him a little bit, and it looks like everything settles out around here, so all the wrecking has pretty much died down at this point, as Jessica Sheldon was stuck behind the damaged car of Patrick Smith. But I would estimate about 13, 14 cars were involved in that wreck, so we're going to have quite a lot of drivers going to be done for after that. So, without further ado, let's take you to the restart at Talladega. So after that big one, about 7 cars are done for today, and the bottom 5 will get to those, but the 2 ahead of them, Dylan Poteet and Paul Minnick, will still get points. However, the rest of the field that wrecked, unfortunately, will not be getting any points going into Pocono. Or actually, no, it's Kansas next week, excuse me. Trent Dunham, Rafael LeDuc, Alex Drayton, James McLeod, and Patrick Smith. Obviously, the big one being McLeod, because he came in second in points, and now he could potentially fall out of the top 10, depending on what happens for the rest of the race. But we're down to 33 cars on track, and Joshua Sekuli is still your race leader. Second, Dougie Shears. Third, Charles Sanford. Fourth, Benjamin Miles. Excuse me. Fifth, Ethan Hoffman. Sixth, Jake Rogers. Seventh, Dylan Thoreau. Eighth, Carson Gum. Ninth, Diego Yepes. 10th, Colin Francis. 11th, Dylan Jacobs. 12th is Jonathan Zorline. 13th, Seth Cole. 14th, Joshua Collard. 15th, Dylan Young. 16th, Sean Galligan. 17th, Kyle Matthews. 18th, Jessica Sheldon. 19th, Zachary Fitzwater. 20th, Preston Plord. 21st, Jay Jefferson. 22nd, James McLeod. 23rd, DJ Curtis. 24th, James Shelley. 25th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 26th, Anthony McCrory. 27th, Matt McIntyre. 28th, Colin Phillips. 29th, Jake Baskinger. 30th, Ryan Butcher. 31st, Cody Lamas. 32nd, Tim Fiegel. And then 33rd, Chris Dollarton.
Credit to that number 6 team for Roush that was able to get that number 6 car fixed up and back on track to salvage this race when their driver basically caused the wreck himself.
And you gotta wonder if he's gonna still be up to speed or not. I would doubt that he would be, but stranger things have happened. As green flag is back out and crossed the line here, it's 23 laps to go. Still a long way to go at Talladega.
The 11 car here still up ahead, pulling kind of ahead here.
At least for now. And this would be a huge, huge break for the 11 of Joshua Sekuli, as he has struggled so far this season. The defending series champion comes in 39th in points. If he could get a win here, it would definitely boost his confidence going forward.
Yeah, it definitely would.
As I look around in the back, and right now the slowest of the slow being Chris Dollarton. He's only going up to 170, 171. And then a few other stragglers.
The field is separating here. It's not being like a freight train type of deal. Everyone's kind of taking their own spot.
Nonetheless, we got a new leader. Charles Sanford has the lead for now. And he's got Jake Rogers and Diego Yepes behind him. A couple of Dodges working their way into the picture now.
Santra's going to have to, I don't know if he's going to try to block. He's keeping down, trying to keep the 10 from passing him. It's now the 56 is falling back that other lane.
Yeah, Jake Rogers falling back on the outside. And now side by side for the lead as here comes Diego Yepes in the 10, the rookie out of Evernham Motorsports. And I think he led that lap. And he did.
Yeah, he did. He's pulling out ahead. He's your new leader. But watch that middle row here. They seem to be gaining ahead of steam with the 88 that lane.
Yeah, Jonathan Zorling trying to lead the middle lane. But Seth Cole right now in second, trying to follow with the 10, but he left the bottom open. Here comes Kyle Matthews.
Kyle Matthews at 42 looking to take advantage. He's going to take the second spot away. Let's see if he can catch up to Yepes before they head onto the front stretch here in Talladega.
And speaking of Yepes, his teammate Zachary Fitzwater trying to make it 1-2 right now for Evernham Motorsports as Paul Minnick out of the race after that big one earlier.
Hopefully can salvage the day for Evernham, and Zachary Fitzwater is going to take over the lead.
Fitzwater now has the lead, but you got a couple of legends coming up behind him. Sean Galligan and the Daytona 500 winner Jessica Sheldon's up here. You also got a couple of Dylans behind her, Dylan Young and Dylan Jacobs. I saw Dylan Jacobs, he was falling towards the back of the lead pack. Now he's back up here into the top 5.
Can I just mention how you just use the term legend?
What?
Well, you called them legends.
Well, they've been around for a long time. That's what I mean.
Oh, all right. Because I thought you would say they're as good as like Richard Petty or Dale Earnhardt. I was like, I was gonna question myself on your sanity, but all right.
But meanwhile, Zachary Fitzwater has a pretty big lead right now over second place. But that will change very, very quickly because of the draft, as Dylan Jacobs leads that pack behind the 91 as he holds second. But he's kind of leaving room for Joshua Collard to maybe make a move, but fortunately for the 78, he comes back down. But Joshua Collard, he's been hungry to get a win. After all, I can't remember the last time he won a race in this series.
Oh, here comes the rookie, the number 99 here, trying to make a move, and Joshua Stakuli finally sticking his nose back in towards that battle for the lead. He fell back, but he's coming back up.
And right now, the lone guy up here at the front is Carson Gum, the winner at Texas. He's starting to fall back a little bit, and then you got a few cars back here who are either slow or just got held up by slower cars. And this pack being led by Anthony McCurry. And then you got Shelley, Curtis, Shears, Dougie Shears was second on the restart, and then he just slipped all the way back here. And then you got Hartnett and Qualls kind of back here, and then you get the slower cars everywhere else. Ryan Butcher running very, very slowly at only 163.
Yeah, hopefully then Dalton's as well as slow. I don't know how much time they have before the lead pack starts catching up to them.
Yeah, and then once that happens, and yeah, you can see them in frame right there. They are rapidly closing in on those two up in front of them. Yeah, Dollarton's faster than the 6, but he's still a good bit of ways away from the 6th for passing him for. That'd be for position right there. That'd be for 32nd. And you can see him catching him, but meanwhile, it's sort of turned single file for the most part up here at the front. Now it's about to become double wide back up here again. And Fitzwater still hanging on to the lead, but you got Sakuli trying to reel him in, and now they are about to catch those two cars, and you gotta wonder how is this going to affect the leaders in how they race.
It's gonna get interesting.
Everyone going up to the high side to go around, and guys like Kyle Matthews getting held up as a result, and now they're going to have to put up with 3 wide, and still Matthews, Plord, Rogers, Yepes, and Francis are still getting held up by Dollarton. And now Dollarton wisely finally moves up high to let them go, but now this pack is sort of scattered as a result of that, and that helped for Fitzwater to get a bigger lead again.
Yep, he was able to take advantage of that situation. He I don't know if you could say he got lucky, but he was able to get the advantage out of those slow cars being there.
And you also got to wonder, when will these drivers have to come into pit road? Because we're closing in on potentially some green flag pit stops. And we're right at the halfway point, less than 14 and a half laps to go. As now this pack has definitely shrunk. As after that happened, yeah, you got these 6 back here from Yepes back to Hoffman. They are a good ways away from this front pack right here.
Yep, there's a lot of room in between those guys, so.
As meanwhile, since taking the lead, Fitzwater has had nobody that has really made a challenge to him yet, but they may be approaching 2 more cars soon. Maybe not as quickly, because they are a little bit faster, Colin Phillips and Tim Fiegel.
Well, we'll see. Speed, it can be an issue, but you also have to worry about positioning, because depending on where they position themselves when leaders come around, Fitzwater might be fine, because he's a little bit...
but he's going into pit road. Pit stops are actually happening now, and Fitzwater hands the lead over to Benjamin Miles for now. The one thing those guys going down pit road do not want to see is a caution right now.
And I do think that lead pack is starting to creep up on those slower cars of Fiegel and
Phillips.
00 Phillips.
And now Dylan Jacobs going to make a move to take second from Zorline, and look at that!
Oh, there's the 00, but he's going to move. He's going to move, and that's going to let Miles
keep the lead for now, but are these guys getting ready to come in? Miles going to stay out another lap, but Dylan Jacobs leads the second group into pit road, and now because of those slower cars, Miles has a bigger lead now over second place Dylan Thoreau right now.
You see, even Phillips is still somewhat...
Whoa, and he got a little bit of a hit from Sekuli. Just moved him completely out of the way right there.
Sekuli pulling a ludicrous and telling him to move, bitch. But I do think this third pack might be coming in here next time around.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if anyone up here doesn't come into pit road.
In the 17 here, looking to make a move. You gotta be careful. Miles is up high. If he wants to come into pit road, he's gonna be kind of fucked.
Or maybe not. He's coming in and he's got an advantage.
Yeah, but is he? No. All right. He's in. All right. That could have went completely wrong for a second.
I see Anthony McCrory. He is staying out. I wonder if he's going to get the lead. I don't know. Let's see here at the line. Nope, at least not yet. Unless he had already been to pit road and he's just cycling around. But as I'm looking around, Fitzwater actually got beat out of pit road of those first group of cars. And the driver that won that battle was Dylan Young. And then Dylan Jacobs got out ahead in the second group. And now the remaining drivers that came in are just now getting out. Dylan Thoreau was the first to get out of there. But I think he's going to get passed for the lead by Dylan Jacobs, as he made a smart move of coming into pit road whenever the second group decided to come in. And now it looks like, yep, the 78 of Dylan Jacobs is going to get the lead. Possibly, I don't know. Thoreau is actually kind of holding his own. Still trying to get on the racetrack, and now he gets back up there. So never mind, Dylan Thoreau cycles around as the leader.
But Dylan Jacobs right behind him, so is Benjamin Miles.
Collard is up here, Dylan Young, and now that second half of the pack's starting to catch up, led by Jake Rogers. Cody Lamas, DJ Curtis coming into pit road late. But they've got another slow car they're going to have to put up with. Matt McIntyre in the 32, as they are 3 wide up here.
Benjamin Miles now has the lead. I see the 17 actually dropped back many positions.
And McIntyre almost got up in front of Seth Cole, and that could have been bad. Oh, and there they go! McIntyre gets turned. Is he going to slide back up? He does. That's going to be a caution. Oh, man, he's sliding back down. Wow, how did Shelley not hit him? How did Shelley not hit him? He came in with a full head of steam right there.
That's where your spotter is useful. That's where you...
Or actually, no, that was Cullen Francis. Never mind. I thought it was Shelley because it was green, black, and white, and there's Shelley right there.
But that situation is where your spotter earns his goddamn pay.
But the caution is out, and Benjamin Miles still hangs on to the race lead.
Seems to be some shuffling because I think it's second is the 43, and then the 2 and Zachary Fitzwater now down to 5th.
Yeah, so this next restart will be the most important restart of the race. But
very, very interesting.
But we're going to go ahead and take a look at the replay real quick of what brought the caution out for the second time today here at Talladega. So as Matt McIntyre was trying to let everyone go, he tries to come down a little bit, but Dylan Thoreau, he just had a full head of steam, but just runs right over the 32 of Matt McIntyre and turns him around. No caution right there. Caution won't come out until when you see the 32 come back up the racetrack right around here. And once he was backwards on the racetrack, NNSCRA officials had to throw the caution out because you had oncoming traffic coming in, and I'm shocked none of them hit the 32 as he was starting to slide back down. I think the closest ones were the 99 and the 11, but watch when Matthews and Francis come in and see which one it was on the bottom that almost clipped the 32. And it was Colin Francis. Man, if McIntyre wasn't turning his car, that could have been a hard hit. But luckily, only a one-car incident, and it wasn't a major incident. But we're going to have an interesting restart coming up, and speaking of which, let's take you to the restart once again here at Talladega. Well, no cars retired out of the race after that caution. We still got 33 cars on track, but about 31 on the lead lap. Maybe, 31 on the lead lap. But, yeah, we're going to be coming to 5 laps to go at the line. So if a caution comes out between now and then the race would end under caution. But Benjamin Miles still holds on to the race lead. Second is Joshua Collard. Third, Dylan Young. Fourth, Jake Rogers. Fifth, Zachary Fitzwater. Sixth, Seth Cole. Seventh is Dylan Jacobs. Eighth is Jay Jefferson. Ninth, Charles Sanford. 10th, Jessica Sheldon. 11th, Preston Plure. 12th, Diego Yepes. 13th, Dylan Thoreau. 14th, Sean Galligan. 15th is Joshua Sakuli. 16th is Jonathan Zorlane. 17th, Ethan Hoffman. 18th, Kyle Matthews. 19th, Colin Francis. 20th is DJ Curtis. 21st is Carson Gum. 22nd, James Shelley. 23rd, Dougie Shears. 24th, Anthony McCrory. 25th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 26th, James Qualls. 27th, Cody Lamas. 28th, Jake Baskinger. 29th, Matt McIntyre. 30th, Tim Fiegel, and then 31st, last car on the lead lap, Ryan Butcher, and then Colin Phillips and Chris Dollarton still a lap down in 32nd and 33rd respectively, but they're in between a bunch of lead lap cars. But nonetheless, pace car in the pit road, and we're getting set to go back to racing for the final 5 laps.
This might be an interesting 5 laps here. We're going to have to see what happens. so far, no one's been really able to consistently dominate this race. So this race is still somewhat wide open.
And the green flag is back out. Miles got a pretty good restart there, but Jake Rogers already going for third underneath of Dylan Young. And I was going to mention before the restart that you got 3 affiliate teammates up here in the top 10, Seth Cole, Dylan Jacobs, and Jay Jefferson, and then 2 teammates behind them with Jessica Sheldon and Charles Sanford at Retro Racing Enterprises, as they're trying to work their way past a lot of cars to try and get to the front. But Miles still holding everyone off. And when we get to the line, it'll be 4 to go. Although Seth Cole going to go for second underneath the 56 of Jake Rogers.
We have another battle, also the Dylan Jacobs and the 03, but the 03 not going to try and make a move for second. We might be 3 wide almost.
Yeah, Charles Sanford trying to get second from Seth Cole. But the more they keep racing like this, the more it helps the 22 of Benjamin Miles, because that's been a big thing here at Talladega so far. Whenever there's a lot of racing going on behind the leader just continues to be able to have the advantage to block whenever he can. But right now, Sanford right there to his back bumper. Maybe the 03 has something for the 22.
Let's see if he tries to make a move here on the front stretch. Jay Jefferson was thinking about it, who's third. Good performance here by Jay Jefferson. He's also right on Sanford's bumper, so Sanford needs to be careful to watch not only in front but behind him as well.
3 laps to go here at Talladega. Miles still hanging on, but he's got 2 cars behind him hot on his trail. Sanford and Jefferson, and even Jessica Sheldon starting to reel into the picture here. You actually got 3 teammates out of Retro Racing Enterprises up here in the top 10, and now there goes Sanford. He's going for it. You got Sanford, Sheldon, and then Kyle Matthews a little bit a ways away, but that's 3 out of the 4 Retro Racing Enterprise teammates up here in the top 10. Can they make it a top 5 sweep for those guys?
Let's find out. See, Miles losing a lot of positions here. He's staying up top. He needs to drop back down when he can.
2 to go, and Sanford hanging on. But Jefferson and Seth Cole, 2 teammate affiliates, trying to maybe work together and see if they can't get around the 03.
You also, now the pack's really starting to catch up to him.
Yeah, the pack's starting to bunch back up, so it's still anybody's ball game right now.
Kyle Matthews
Seth
are behind him.
tried to make it into the inside of Sanford, but Sanford shut the door on him.
That could have gone wrong for a lot of people on that move, but Sanford was able to pull it off.
And how about rookie Cullen Francis? He'd been in the back pretty much all day long, and now he's found himself in contention. 3 wide for the lead. And the white flag is out here at Talladega. Kyle Matthews has got the run on the inside. And how about Dougie Shears? What a comeback. He, on the previous restart, was second until dropping to around the very back of the pack. Now he's back up here in contention to potentially win.
And your Texas winner, Carson Gum, also in contention there. He could could he make it 2 in a row here in Talladega?
He'd be the second driver this season to go 2 in a row. Matt McIntyre did after Las Vegas and California earlier in the season. But now Shears has the lead. Carson's going to have one final shot off of turn 4. Can he make it?
It's going to be a drag race.
He's not going for it. Kind of surprised. It looks like he's going to stay committed to helping the 83. Checkered flag getting ready to wave. Dougie Shears wins the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. The man who started on the pole didn't lead much all day and led the lap that counted most, the last one.
That's what matters. It doesn't matter where you are from the first to last lap. As long as you're first, when that checkered flag waves, you're a winner no matter what happens.
But man, oh man. I thought Carson Gum was going to go for it off of 4, but I guess he either just wanted to help the 83 or just felt he didn't have enough confidence to go for it. But nonetheless, Dougie Shears gets his first win of the season and he gets it at Talladega. But let's look at the rest of the results. Yeah, Carson Gunn was so close to making it 2 in a row, but he still gets a phenomenal points finish, and I think he could take the points lead over going into Kansas next week. Maybe we'll have to look at the points after the fact. But Colin Francis came out of nowhere in the end. He was in the back pretty much all day long, and he comes through with a third-place run. And then another guy in the back all day, his teammate DJ Curtis, came out of nowhere to finish 4th. And then Sean Galligan with another solid performance in 5th. Kyle Matthews almost had it, but got past 3 wide on the last lap and gets a 6th-place finish. Joshua Collard with a solid run in 7th. And how about that for Joshua Sekuli? Gets a much-needed good finish in 8th. Seth Cole, the solid run in 9th, and then James Shelley, Seth Cole's teammate, finishing out in 10th. Rest of the top 20 on your screen right there, led by Charles Sanford, ends with Zachary Fitzwater. And then your top 30, led by Diego Yepes, ends with Matt McIntyre. And then the last car on the lead lap, Ryan Butcher, with the 2 cars a lap down, being Chris Dollerton, Colin Phillips. And then everyone else was out of the race after the first wreck of the day. Dylan Poteet, Paul Minnick being able to get points, but the rest did not. Trent Dunham, Rafael Leduc, Alex Drayton, James McLeod, and Patrick Smith. But that does it for our coverage today here at Talladega Superspeedway for the Aaron's 499. But next week we go to Kansas. But before we leave, I want to say thank you to Mr. Leduc for stopping by.
It was my pleasure. It was a fun race to watch and commentate. A little bit disappointed that the 77 could get a better performance today, but we'll bounce back and we'll get back out there. And we're going next week to a track where we won last year. We actually won the season finale there, so hopefully we can get our first win of the year next week.
Basically, short, sweet to the point, he's still on the search for a real racetrack.
Exactly, because we're still searching for that real racetrack.
All right, but nonetheless, here are your final results, rookie points and regular points heading into Kansas. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.